I'll first just see if anybody has any questions we want to answer, and then we'll just do a quick round of reflection. And in this one, I'm just going to call on you on the reflection based on your order on my screen, but it's nice to hear people say a couple final things in terms of just anything. It doesn't really matter to me. But before that, are there any questions people have, or for the prospective schools, would it be good to have a follow-up session as a group, just to kind of
yeah, I think so. I would like.
Yeah, good. I saw Jeff raise. Yeah, okay. Vince, very good. Okay, so we'll do that. I'll send out a doodle to find a time that works for folks. Any other questions people have? So if you want to ask a question, or is that your thumb still up?
I'm just playing around with the button trying to turn it off.
Okay. That's good.
I have a question, Bobby, but I don't know if it's for this session or for the next meeting of perspectives. But what I'm noticing at my campus when I'm starting to talk with people about setting this up, some people are getting excited, and then some people are slower and more hesitant, right? And so I'm curious about how to keep moving it forward while it's in its very much in its infancy or developing ideas, and also make sure it doesn't get swept into other priorities, right? Right now, diversity inclusion is a big priority on our campus. And so I want to keep moving forward with our thinking around this while paying attention to that, but not letting it get kind of co-opted and swept into that. Yeah. As we move forward. So I'm trying to be protective and yet still like open up. But yeah. I'm finding it's not easy.
Yeah, I mean, we probably have to talk longer, maybe even individually on that. I'd have to ask you a bunch of questions to kind of see some of the landmines there or some of the possibilities. You know, in general, I think having some more people feel invested in it is obviously good, but there's a way in which you can have too many cooks in the kitchen, right? That's kind of what you're concerned about. I think part of what you want to do there, and this is true even with more established programs, you got to play us off of this a little bit, right? So Valerie's got a new president who I heard is fantastic, both from Val, from other people before she got there. And I'm going to assume that she cares about this stuff enormously. Let's just say for a second she doesn't. Let's say she's got to put more effort over here, you know, but it was going to undercut Bonner somehow. Well, then I get to step in, right? Or let's put it a different way. This president's talking about all this kind of stuff, includes this kind of work, and she hasn't really noticed these guys yet in a big way. Well, then they can pull me into the conversation, you know, president of a foundation, play that whole card, right? And so it's you play it to prevent something, you play it to build something, right? You also have the Bonner standards. Like, sorry guys, it can't be a 4 or 5 hour a week program.
Yeah.
Under COVID, it might be a lot less, but that's not the standard, right? I'm sorry guys, it has to be at least the work study stipend. That's the standard. Mm-hmm. Staffing becomes an interesting one because the standard there you'll see in the Scholar model where we can enforce it. It's 40 or more students, you have to have one person full-time on Bonner once you get to 40. After that, it's a half-time additional FTE if you have 60 and another full FTE if you're at 80. Mm-hmm. So people say, what's the, you know, so then now the leader school, I can't require it, but you can use that expectation and you can use me or whoever to help communicate some of these things. So I think it's just we're a resource in that, not just to give you specific advice, but actually to use us right. And these expectations and standards and resources as a way of putting that in front of people and saying, here's the model, here's some of the standards. Now we get to adapt it to make sense for us, but we can't be less than those standards. We can't veer off into some other funny direction because that's somebody's pet thing.
Yeah, that's helpful.
Yeah.
Great, thanks.
Yeah. You know, I think Clarence has got a particularly interesting opportunity / challenge because they've had a program that's basically identical to Bonner with a couple of small exceptions. The exceptions are small, not big. And the part of the difference here is that program, the Albion Fellows or something like that, they were doing it all by themselves, right? So they didn't have, this is not, I hear this every now and then, where we found a program that has all the Bonner dimensions, but they're building it all by themselves. So they have none of the best practices, none of the community to learn from. So it's nothing that go up the learning curve. They go up the learning curve just fine, but they could go up faster. Or it might be more fun to have more people around the room. Or they might, and certainly for the students to feel like they're part of something large is really exciting. I mean,
That's part of the reason why we want to.
What's that?
I said that's part of the reason why we want to potentially move to a Bonner's model, because of the vast number of resources that comes along with the program as a whole.
Yeah.
We recognize the deficits of our current program and want to make sure that our students have the best, outcome possible while they're here at Albion and after.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
And look, I want to be clear. Albion's program, there's one at a school I saw up in Rochester. There's nothing wrong with those programs. It's just, they could have other pieces and they might make some, but because they have a program, you're going to bring a lot into our network that our folks haven't thought about the way you do it, right? Because everybody puts their own, most of what you decide to do is what you decide to do. That's the fun of it. It takes longer, but that's the fun of it. The other thing is, and I say this regularly, we put everything up on the wiki or SlideShare, whatever, right away. If there's not already these slides, we have to edit these videos, so that takes a little longer, but it's already up there or will be up there. And I don't, the Bonner Learning Community, you have to get access to get in there. I don't want it just to be on the Bonner Learning Community. It's going to also go on the wiki. There's no such thing for me as a premium benefit to be in the Bonner Network versus being out of the Bonner Network in terms of getting the raw material. The reason to be in it is to have all this relationship, right? But I want everybody to have it as soon as they can because we're trying to build a movement around this work, not a Bonner empire. What good does that do us? And we don't have to make money because we have Mrs. Bonner, they left us enough to have an operation. Look at this office, so just keep that in mind, right? I mean, that's the sort of the spirit of what we're trying to do is this bigger stuff. And all right, is there one more question? All right, so I'm gonna because they're not showing their faces, I'm gonna start with Megan on my bottom right of my screen. Megan, just a final reflection before we sign off.
Hi, thank you. No, it's really helped. This whole opportunity has been helpful to learn about how this works in different school settings, and for us at UNCW to navigate how to make this work with our school, and that we are already doing a lot of the things. And so thank you for all of this. And again, this has been helpful for us to learn how to apply this here.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you were here. Matthew.
I just kind of we want to reiterate that same sentiment because like I've mentioned, at the University of Nevada, Reno, the Office of Service Learning and Civic Engagement has just adopted this program from our honors program. And there were a lot of things that were going on that I have noticed within the program that didn't necessarily align with what has been presented to me. So it's been really refreshing to know that my vision and my goals within the position and our office vision and office goals align with what this program is supposed to be doing. Because for a while we were just kind of we don't really know what to expect here. But it's been excruciatingly helpful in every way to get all this information and to connect with everyone, because I've realized that I have a larger support system than I had thought originally. So that's been it's been really comforting. And also I'm paying attention and listening to everything that everyone is saying so that I can move forward with our program in a direction that I see best fit for our campus.
Nice, thank you. Sierra.
Hey, I've really enjoyed this whole opportunity as well. I think what I take away is that I still need to spend time understanding where our funding's coming from and what work study looks like. So I work with Megan, and our supervisor Leah has already kind of started the ball rolling on that to kind of talk with financial aid and see what we can do in terms of that. And then also just being able to get support within the college that we work within. So we work in the College of Health and Human Services. And so finding those like champion faculty and staff members who really want to act as maybe mentors or help lead some of the workshops or different things like that.
Nice, nice. Jennifer.
Well, I think first of all, I'm in awe because I do have the advantage of coming from a Bonner school and being in the program. I'm in awe in how much knowledge James Shields at the time, who was the director at Guilford, how much passion and how much effort and how much understanding he had of the program. And now being a part of the program and learning more of the details about how the program is frameworked, and then trying to self-reflect on my own and realize, okay, how am I going to do the same work that James did and transfer that to the students? I think it's what is really exciting and motivating me for the next coming years being here at Allegheny. So I really do appreciate you both, Bobby and Rachida and Liz, and I think Arthur was in a couple, just sharing all of this information and allowing us to build and grow as well within the program.
Thanks. Abby. And now I'll warn you, Vince, you and Clarence are next. Go ahead.
I've just really appreciated getting to know more about the ins and outs of the Bonner program. So it's been on our campus for going to almost 3 years now, I think. And I've worked with it in some capacities, but just being able to know more of the ins and outs, and then also hearing from you all as colleagues on how it's working in your schools and your universities. So I really liked that aspect of it too. I almost wish we had more time to chat about like how we're doing things differently at every university.
Thank you. Vince.
Well, first off, Bobby, thanks to you and your staff for putting this together. It was very well organized and enjoyable. I think you've given me enough for me to be able to wrap my mind around how it works so I can begin having conversations with various stakeholders around campus, starting with financial aid. We're still in the exploratory stage, but I really like what I've seen, and I think it would be a really good fit here at Hampton-Sydney. So, I look forward to that supplemental conversation that you mentioned, so I can get some more talking points for financial aid. But thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Clarence, and then Arlette, you're next. You and Sam are next.
So originally when our new president mentioned moving to a Bonner Scholars model, made me a little bit nervous. But even before these meetings, having the ability to read up on Bonners, and then after or during these meetings, hearing how closely aligned we were, gave me a lot more confidence. And one, knowing that we're obviously moving in the right direction, but also to know that there is a platform out there that can give our students a better foundation academically and socially in a much larger network. And I am very happy to, again, I tell my students all the time that I look forward to helping them become who they want to be, not just while they're here at Albion, but even after they leave. And to always use me as a resource too. So to be able to extend that service even more so by having all of you and so many more as part of a network and a system that we can utilize. It honestly makes me extremely happy to see that that's the vision that our new president has. Absolutely. Thank you for this.
Yeah. Well, Clarence, I'm quite close to Matthew, so shoot him an email and tell him you're now part of this whole thing.
I will.
Arlette, and then Sam.
Hi. Well, for me, it's always so gratifying to see the level of structure and resources that the foundation provides to run effective programs across the nation, regardless of the size or characteristics of specific campuses. Also, I truly admire the level of professionalism that the foundation excels in. All of their slides and materials. It's just incredible. But also the level of mindfulness and inclusivity where everybody feels a part of this community. For me, it's my favorite consortium to be part of because I feel appreciated and welcomed, but also because I get so much to bring back to my campus and to my community and into their students. So that is really important to me to be part of this network with so many great people. So this just reassures what I already know, and I'm so grateful to be part of it. So thank you.
Yeah, it's been a treat having you here. Even though you're our 6-year director, here you are. So Sam, and then just so you know, Lori and Valerie are next.
Well, as I'm approaching my 1 year in the position, it's been a pretty untraditional year to come into a program. I came in right after the orientation, so I had to work a little bit to get to know the students and everything else, and then COVID. But I also had the privilege of attending the fall directors meeting in Maryland, which was great. But I feel like I was jumped into a bigger conversations about the program. So attending this week has really helped me to understand that I think I'm in a good path, in the right path, and I'm able to check off, say, okay, I'm doing all this stuff, so it's been really great. But one thing I really enjoy, one of the big parts I like about my job is explaining to people, honestly, anyone, even family, where I work and what I do, and explaining what the model for Bonner is. But even something bigger I brag about is that we're just not like TCNJ. It's a nationwide network, and that we always have access to so many different people. And I think not a lot of programs can brag about that, or even in the local campus, just saying, well, we can reach out to our network, So thank you for the foundation, everyone. Thank you for all that good work.
It got a little dark somehow here. But the power did not go out. It went out last night. It's still out at my house, but the foundation's operating, so we're good. So Lori and then Val.
Hi, everyone. I really appreciate being here and learning about the different resources and support that's available through the foundation. I'm also pretty new to TCNJ, even though they've had the program for many years at this point. And I'm really focused on sort of branding and reporting side of things. So this gives some really good context for me and the work that I'll be doing. So thank you so much for having us.
All right, Val.
Yeah, forget to unmute myself. I just want to thank you all for everything that the folks at the foundation do for us. I'm very grateful to the support and the resources that you share so freely with us and get us in touch with each other. And another thing I'm really grateful for is my colleagues across the whole network, just to feel like you're a part of something that's bigger than just your little office on your campus. Especially lately, in the last 6 months or so, when we've been bogged down by details of how are we going to, provide service opportunities for our Bonners. How are we going to do so many things that we can't do on a normal basis anymore because of the coronavirus? It's been really helpful this past few sessions and the weekly Bonner meetings, Zoom, have been just, I look forward to those every week. I really do, because it gives me a big picture of like, this is why we're doing this work. This work is super important. Our students are super important, and it gives me a sense of purpose. And so I just want to thank you all, and I'm so happy to meet other people that are in our Bonner network and could soon be in our Bonner network.
Wonderful. All right, Jeff and then Elaine, and then I'll go call on you, Rachait, after that, and then we'll finish up. So Jeff, you're next.
So the word that I would use to reflect on this week would be opportunity. I came here to my campus about 1.5 years ago and inherited a community engagement program that was pretty much stagnant and that was only superficially a part of the local scene. I'm dedicated to find a way to create something that's focused and sustainable over time, and I feel like Bonner represents the best possible model. And another opportunity is that our executive level cabinet is completely turned over. I've got a new vice president of academic affairs that I report to, a new vice president of enrollment management, a new marketing VP, and they're all on board and they're all excited about how our work can carry forward together. Furthermore, we've got all the funding that we need in order to direct to students. So those question marks aren't really going to be, I think, a stumbling block, even though, you know, I'm sure all of you are facing budget constraints during the pandemic, but I think we're in good shape financially. Just coming into this process, I learned, this was the first time I had heard about this 7% federal work study requirement. Found out, I should also mention my brother-in-law is the financial aid director, so there's another key stakeholder. He told me that ever since he's been in that position, we've been getting a waiver every year for that because we don't meet that 7%. So basically that means that's funding that we've turned away. I'll say, thank you, I'll take that. Thank you very much. So I think there's just a lot of great possibility in this, and I'm really excited about moving forward. Furthermore, this program, I think, is also going to dovetail well with our university's commitment to AAC&U, high impact learning practices. And I'm developing coursework that I can map onto the Bonner model that will be a common pathway for our Bonner program participants to go through all for 4 years. So I think it's just really streamlined.
Yeah, wonderful. That's great to hear. Elaine.
I'm extremely grateful. As a faculty member, my husband says, I thought you're supposed to be off. And I'm like, I kind of am. This is a lot of fun. You know, so I'm up here and I'm writing notes and I'm designing a program. And Bobby, when you said earlier, you know, ready, go, get set, I think I hit go. And now I'm like, shit, what am I doing? Right. And so I'm really, I feel energized and motivated by you all so that I don't, you know, kind of don't slip back into trying to play it safe. And I have hope that we'll figure it out as a campus. I teach a graduate class on civic and community engagement. So I have those grad students. I'm ready to revamp my entire course to help build this and work with undergrad students. So even if people slow down, if administration slow down, I have a backup plan that we'll just keep moving. And you've given me my curriculum for my entire course, right? So I'm just pumped. I really, really am.
Oh, that's fun. We've had individual grad assistants help with startup.
Yeah.
Never had a whole class make it as a part of an assignment. That'd be kind of fun to talk about.
Yeah.
Wonderful.